Hello, this is Goto. Welcome back to Feed the Beast Interactions Remastered, where we are on our skyblock over here, and it is daytime. And, not quite sure what we're doing today yet, but, I think we are looking at maybe building a little base to get started with. So, for now I'm just harvesting all our crops. Wow, these crops grew fast. I, harvested all the wheat, and then there was a candleberry all ready to go again. So let's make some inventory room here. Olive, I think we can just turn into charcoal, right? Yep. Let's get this olive out of here. These flowers, I don't know that we need flowers, but also I don't want to throw away flowers that might be hard to get. How are we looking in here? We've got some bones. That's good. I think actually we want to, yeah, now that I'm thinking of it, I think we're going to want to work on our porcelain melter over here because we didn't quite actually finish up this quest over here in the first chapter. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is going to take some lava. And, whoop, I didn't hit the bookmark entire recipe button. There we go. Also, I think my bookmarks got cleared. That might have been just because I cleared them and I don't remember clearing them, or something cleared them. Dang, that was like some redundant stuff I just said there. Anywho, let's go ahead and get some bone meal, get some more bones here. That's probably enough bones. And then some clay. We're going to go to our work table here really quick. You know what? We're going to need work tables with different fluids in them, so let me go ahead and make a couple extra work tables. I'm thinking like just a handful to have them. But let's see, where's my rudimentary tools? Oh yeah, my rudimentary pickaxe I actually threw off into the abyss, so we're gonna have to make a new rudimentary pickaxe. That's fine though. I think the pickaxe was like this or like that. Okay, yeah, there's the pickaxe head, and then this goes on a stone rod. So there we go. Grab you, and then we need some planks to make a crafting table. Let's get some planks out of here. I'm just gonna make like, I don't know, 8 of them. And then go over here, give me 16 crafting tables. That is not 8, but sure. Can we? No, we can't see. Wait, actually, was that it on the like 3rd page there? Oh, it was here. Okay. So pickaxe on the left and shovel on the right. Okay, so pickaxe, shovel, and then axe is on the bottom. Craft a bunch of those. Okay, that should be our need for the foreseeable future on this mod pack, I think. 16 of those seems reasonable. We've got our obsidian. We need our philosopher's stone to turn into lava. We're going to need a bucket to pick up said lava. Excuse me. I clicked, control click is a way to move one stack of something, and I control clicked it, but it also picked up the stack. I got confused there. That's where I meant to put the table, but I guess, it's gonna go there instead. Alright. Yoink. Yoink, I mean. I forgot to equip my, oven mitt, so it, burned me when I picked up the lava, and it threw the lava out of my hand. But, okay, so we got our lava in here. We still need seared bricks. We have a bunch of, clay oven. Oh, we need like an actual clay oven? Oh yeah, an actual clay oven. Okay. Well, we've got the clay for that. That's no problem. Here we go. So clay oven, we have a hammer. Seared bricks, I'm just going to go over here to grab 4 of those, and then porcelain bricks. So for that we need porcelain, and then we need to fire it. Okay, let's get some porcelain cooking up. How do we make porcelain again? It is quartz? Nether quartz, we don't have that. Here we go, this recipe here. Clay and bone meal is a hammer in this table. Which our table is kind of confused now. It doesn't seem to see the toolbox anymore. That seems unfortunate. It might be because I put this other table next to it and it's getting confused. That's okay though for right this moment. Let's make... Oh wait, how do you do this? Oh, it was a mortar and pestle with a hammer, huh? Here's our mortar and pestle. There we go. Yeah, there's our bone meal. And slightly higher efficiency bone meal. And then we just mix these up, and then we set them to cook. So let them cook, version 2. Let's put the cobble kind of back a little, and then put the porcelain at the front here. That should kind of prioritize the porcelain to go in. And I'll actually go ahead and steal these cobblestones out of here. Okay, there we go. This should be enough to get us started with the... oh, I did not want this. Get us started with the smelter, and then... we're also going to need some other things to go with it. We're going to need, like... If you've used the Tinker's Construct smeltery, it's a lot like that, but it has... It's basically a mini version. Yeah, like the tooltip says, smaller version of smeltery. So let's look at Tinker's Complement. So Tinker's Complement is... I did add complement here. That lets you search stuff from a specific mod. This is the stuff from that mod. So we're going to need, like, a tank. We could also use a glass or a window. I might just use a... To be honest, a glass, because we have more glass than porcelain at the moment, so save some porcelain there. We're going to need a casting table and a casting basin, so that's 14 more porcelain we're going to need. But anyways, here's the 4 to get us started on that, and then we can get 4 more for glass. And then for the glass one, we need 5 glass pieces, and we should be able to craft all that up. So let's go ahead and craft the glass. Let's go over here and craft the actual smelter itself. There we go. We have an extra 3/4 bucket of lava. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Don't think I can really do much with it. And then we have completed this. Oh, and it gives us some nice stuff. It gives us a pie. I didn't actually mean to take the pie. I just kind of impulsively clicked it. And then, yeah, fun stuff. We also got a riot shield with unbreaking and mending and shield bash. You know, that could actually be useful. I don't really know how to use shields. Shields are, like, before my time. So... let's make sure this porcelain is still going. Okay, well, this seems fine at the moment. Also, I'm just gonna, like, I have clay, I have bricks. Let's just throw the clay in there, get more bricks. Replant those really quick. Okay, so we're done with this recipe. We have our melter, and I guess we made a gauge. Yeah, that's called a gauge, not a other thing that I thought it was. We're gonna need lava for that, but we could go find lava in the overworld, like either underground or on the surface somewhere. Let's do a couple more things with our porcelain first, though. Right, that's why I walked over here, to get the porcelain. So we need a... to look up the recipe, because I don't know how to make this stuff. Yo, where's the, faucet? Is there not a porcelain faucet? There doesn't seem to be a porcelain faucet. Faucet. Oh, it's an unfired faucet, and it's under ceramics. Okay. So, ceramics. Okay, yeah, here's the unfired stuff. That's weird. What is this? And it goes into a channel. And very strangely, you can't turn an unfired channel into a, you can't use a smelter to do that. Well, hopefully we can smelt that in here. Okay, yeah. So we're just going to need to make a channel really quick. We need porcelain dust for that. Oh no, big blunder. We, we turned too much stuff into too much other stuff. Now we don't have enough stuff for our one stuff. The classic, dilemma. Alright, there's some more bone meal. We need some more clay. Where was I putting the clay? There we go. We only need 3 at the moment. That's fine for now. And then this actually needs to get turned into that, and this needs to get cooked on its own. That was my bad. There we go. That's cooking up now. Do we have any more porcelain over here to grab? No, we have all the porcelain. Okay. So we need a casting table. You know what? Why did I make only one of these? You always need more than one of a thing, so I should have known. I'm gonna get another set of unfired porcelains to make another faucet, because if we're gonna have 2 tables, it makes sense to have 2 faucets. Alright, there's our second faucet in there. Throw this clay and cobble back in here. The reason I'm doing cobble is because I'm wanting smooth stone, because I'm thinking that's going to be our building material for our base. So we're also going to want some more, I'm thinking we're going to want some more grout, and right now our grout limiting thing is going to be clay, so I'm thinking to maybe throw some more strainers in these strainer bases, so they can get cooking on some more clay while we're just running around doing things. So, 4 of these are dedicated to straining. One of them is the fish one, and one of them is the seed one. So let's just make, like, 4 more strainers. I could, like, set up an automated system for pulling stuff out and putting stuff in and sorting stuff, but I'm thinking we'll do that once we move this stuff over to our overworld base. For now, though, let's just go ahead and make survivalist strainers. Let me just double check this is the one. Yeah, okay, so we want to make like 4 or 8 of these. Let's just do like a set of 8. And so we're going to need twines. Twines or string, right? Yeah, we could use string also, but it's kind of a lot of string. 32 strings for that? Yeah, let's just use twines. Because EMC is not really that big of a deal, but twines kind of are still. Or a string kind of is. So sapling. I say as I, like, destroy all of my EMC, making some dangled saplings. Yeah, maybe this isn't as cheap as I thought it was. Get these shears really quick. Alright, turn you into plant fibery, and then turn you into twine. Alright, I feel like I'm carrying a ton of junk around. Let's get rid of some of the junk really quick. Okay, that seems fine for now. So, the survivalist strainer, right? Oh, we need to go back in here for those. Of course, of course. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and might as well do 5. Do we have twine somewhere? We do. We can just merge nearby inventories. So dense twine. Oh, we have saws over here for some reason. Go over here, saws. Are we gonna need lava in the table anymore at this point? Let me just really quickly look at lava recipes for the workbench, because I don't want to break the workbench if we imminently need it. Where the heck is the workbench? Guys. It must not show the... it must not show the uses as a liquid in the work table, work table. So... yeah, let me just, like, quickly scroll through here. I'll be right back 1 second. So, portal blocks we're good on. Porcelain melter, we've made one of those. Oh, also the seared controller, but that needs copper plates. And that's a 3/4 bucket, which is exactly what we have, but, like, that's, we can't get copper plates for a little while, so. Those are the only 3 recipes, actually, so I'm gonna go ahead and say we are okay of breaking this for now. And yay, that fixed our table over here. Yay, nice, okay. We can now put this back in here. We can store our table back over in this chest. Yoink. Store our flint and steel as well. Store our scanner as well. Okay. What was I doing? Dense net, survival strainer. Okay. Let's get some sticks. And then we're just gonna take only 4 of them is fine for now. Oink. Because they don't stack, so I don't want to destroy my inventory storage. So that's gonna set us up with some more clay. And then these I'm just gonna stick in here. Okay. How's our cobble situation over here looking? It's looking okay. Get our faucets. Okay, so we're ready to set up our melter now. So the melter's just gonna look like this. So there's our melter. It needs fuel to run. That's gonna go in the gauge block down here. That's like a tank. And then we're just gonna have that. And then we're gonna need our basin. And we're gonna need our table. So basin, table, plonk, plonk, and there we go. There's our setup. We just need lava to fuel it, and then we can start melting stuff down in here. And now I'm just gonna pick the whole thing up. Good stuff. Just placing stuff just to pick it back up. Alright, so there's that setup. We're gonna need something to work with this blank cast. So if you know in traditional Tinker's Construct, what you need to do is you need to take pieces of materials and then basically cast them in a molten metal to get these casts. But in this mod pack, you can just use a chisel and you can chisel all of the other types of casts. So can we get a chisel really quick? And we need the chisel from this type of chisel, not like this architect's chisel is not the correct type we need. Okay, so for a chisel we need an iron ingot. We can actually feasibly get one of those from a quest reward over here. Yeah, we just need to pick up a magnetite and a vanadium magnetite. And we know where we have more Gloriosa daisies, so we can find that pretty easily, I think. Ooh, spiderweb sapling reward. I might actually take that and plant that somewhere. That'd be nice for some early spiderweb growth. Let's stick that like over here. Oh, and it does twerk to grow. All right, cool. So there we have some extra spiderwebs. Basically, each time one of those grows, it's the same as 1.5 of these growing. So speaking of these, let me just go ahead and harvest them really quick. We're gonna be at no shortage of needing string in the early game, so. Waxberries we're probably okay on, like we're gonna have candles for days. Alright. And go ahead and pick these up, place them back down. Whew! Can we make something to move chests with? Like, there's Dolly in this mod pack? Yeah, Dolly can pick up and move blocks that have an inventory. Requires wrought iron. Okay, well, we don't have wrought iron. How do you make wrought iron? I think you just take iron and throw it in a fire, if I'm recalling. Yeah, we just burn iron in a fire. Okay, that's simple enough. Let's look at some of our quests over here, because we've been looking a lot at this chapter, but we haven't really looked too much at our... we haven't really looked too much at our other chapters. So this is going to be our Steam Age chapter. This is a guide, multi-blocks. Okay, we'll look at that once we actually get to making it. So progression goals. Okay, this is just the progression steps for the mod pack in general. So this gives us trophies. Okay, cool. I'm gonna leave the trophies in here because I don't actually really want to put them down. They are kind of lag machine type of blocks, so they create a lot of FPS lag, so I'm not gonna put them anywhere. This is machine progression. Yeah, this is LVH machines and stuff. LVH components. We got all the electrical motors, LV circuits. LV meaning low voltage, by the way. I don't think I actually said that. And we go to... Apparently we go to the UV age, which I believe is ultimate voltage. Okay, so that's our machine progression. We have this chapter about various aspects. So this subchapter is about energy. So we're probably going to be in here to do our first major automated energy source, which is probably going to be some kind of steam oven that is running off of a tree farm. And then it also talks about diesel generators and stuff. There's actually a lot of types of power generators in Greg Tech, but in this mod pack, it kind of focuses on, it more or less focuses on diesel production. So that's kind of what our focus is going to be, more or less. Metallurgy. Okay, so this talks about, this chapter is going over the various ore processing steps. So here we're currently going to be in basic metallurgy, and we're going to be following this path here. So we're going to be doing a basic ore processing thing. We're basically going to be doing a manual kind of process. We have our ore, and we need to turn it into a dust to be able to use it. We can't just cook the ore directly in the furnace. Well, we could in the smeltery controller, but we don't have a smeltery. Smeltery is actually disabled. I cannot look up the recipe of that. So a few options we have with the ore is we can turn it into a dense ore, and then the dense ore we can turn into a shard, and then the shard we can turn into a crystal, and the crystal we can turn into a clump. This is for increasing the yield of our ores. For now, we're just going to focus on the main path here. So the main path of ore processing. Oh, here we go. We got a very, very convoluted looking diagram here. So maybe it'd be easier if I start just going through the steps one by one. So where's the crafting table recipe? We do not have a crafting table recipe. That's okay. Let me go over here. So the first step we're going to do with our ores is we're going to have to hammer it, and we're not going to use one of these machines. There's actually a machine that we can, break the block with a hammer manually to do this step, and it's going to give us a crushed iron ore. Then with a crushed ore, we can hammer it again in our inventory to get an impure dust. Then with the impure dust, we could either smelt that, or we could also wash it in a, I thought there was something called a simple washer, but you can also wash it in a cauldron just by dropping it in a cauldron. So this is the full diagram. Basically, we are going to be following the step of crushing the ore by hand. So we're not going to get two, we're only going to get one. Then we're going to crush it again with a hammer. So where is that step? We can assume that's like this step right here. And then from the hammer, we're going to put it in a cauldron, and that's going to give us the iron dust that we are looking for. Or we can also, I forgot, we can just cook the impure iron. What does our quest book want us to do? The quest book wants us to actually clean the dust, so we might go ahead and do that. It also gives us this very good pickaxe, so we're definitely gonna want to do that. So can we get a hammer? Well, to get a hammer, we're going to first need iron. Yeah, so that's an interesting question. If we needed iron to get our first hammer, how do we get our first iron? Can we do something with this iron ore to turn it into a metal block or metal ore directly? Oh, we can actually melt it in the melter. Okay, okay. So we're just gonna need to set up our melter somewhere, and then we're gonna need to get some lava to fuel it, and that's gonna be our next thing we do. So, and we're also gonna need more iron. Anyways, I was looking at quests, so let's go back and finish looking at the quests really quick. These are higher tier methods for processing ores that we'll get to later on. This chapter is for processing, what's it called? Chemicals. So we're going to be doing like, here we're going to be doing oil processing, some chemistry processing, get some sulfuric acid for toluene for TNT. We're going to need a lot of TNT later on. Um, Processing air to get nitrogen, oxygen, and hydrogen, mostly nitrogen from air, of course. And yeah, chemistry is a thing. In Greg Tech, it always is a thing. Circuitry, all the machines need some kind of circuit. Well, all the machines beyond the steam machines need some kind of circuitry to run. So this talks about the circuitry progression. Our dimensionality, we've already been looking at this chapter. This just gives us an overview of what's in various dimensions. So ores that are available, monsters that are available, some other resources that are available that we might want. Wind Thistle, good for speed potions. Mooncat Mushroom, good for night vision potion. I had no idea, actually. Is it? It is, but you also need Moon Glow Leaf. And you can get a horsetail and get a 60-minute night vision elixir with liquid stardust. Okay. I mean, that sounds promising. What about this guy? So this guy, we can put elixir of speed, 20% speed for 8 minutes, and then we can also make a speed 2 for 1 minute and 30 seconds as well. Okay. Oh, we can actually do that we can do it in a simple alchemy array as well. Just sugar, wind thistle, and a bottle. We could make this now if we had wind thistle. So here's some info about the world. World uses a biomap that loops every couple thousand blocks. The world gen follows a pattern for hot and cold regions. So if we want drier biomes, we'll want to go west. So west will take us to deserts and such. East will take us to more moist biomes. So we know in our overworld, if I swap over there really quick, we already know that there's a swamp over here. So if we go this way, we'll probably also hit jungles and such. Oh, hey, there's some lava over there. That might be useful. We might go there to fill up our gauge. North takes us to colder biomes, and then south takes us to warmer biomes. So this is dry, and then at some point it loops back to wet. And then this is wet, and then it loops back to dry at some point, and then going down it's warm, and then it loops back to cold, and then north is cold and loops back to warm. Just a really simple explanation of that. And it also gives us this nature's compass, so if we want to find specific biomes, we can actually dial in what's the closest biome available of that type. Nether space, we go to space here. Spice, I think that's the Tim Curry reference. Look it up if you don't know. And then the end. So that's the dimensionality chapter. Gregic Sorceries is just all about magic mods. So we have Astral Sorcery, Botania, Blood Magic, Roots, which is this is a low, not low. This is a newer mod for me. Roots. So Roots, I'm gonna have to like learn while we're doing this adventuring together. And then also Thaumcraft. Oh boy, Thaumcraft. Love it or hate it. Party equipment is all about tools and stuff. Let's see. Key magical materials will provide extremely strong variant of mundane tools. So key magical materials would be mana infused metal, which we can get from where's mana infused metal? Also thaumium, which is a Thaumcraft metal. Endurium is also a very strong metal. Here's mana infused metal. We can get mana infused metal with fluid recipe from wizardry, dropping steel into mana. Okay. That's down the road problem. But we will need tools in here. We're going to need some files, some screwdrivers, some hammers, crowbars, etc. we're going to need at some point. There's some tool bag quest up here that we can use. A satchel. Tool belt. We can make our own saplings, it looks like, with a luminous crafting table from Astral Sorcery. We can make a tool station for making other types of tools from Tinker's Construct. Sound dampener. We can use to silence blocks, which I've already, like, I had this other mod installed because they provided it last time, and I'm like, that's an excellent mod, we're not gonna do that. What is this? Hippogriff, if we want a hippogriff. We just need to submit a ton of eggs. Hammer is a AoE type mining tool. Time in a bottle speeds up time. Drill is a powered AoE mining tool. Building gadget lets us... it's kind of like a blueprint thing from Factorio, if you're familiar with that. And then there's some armors over here, some enchanting stuff over here. Cybernetic upgrades over there. Yeah, just stuff. Supply chain management is all about storage and logistics. So we've already... Signilum conversion kit. Okay. We've already done a bit of stuff here. We've used whoppers in our overworld. We've used chests. We have used chests, yes. But we also look about... here we talk about... other types of storage, stack storage like barrels, transfer nodes, fluid storages. Here we look at applied energistics, which we're definitely going to want to get into, but it's a little ways away, so that's going to be our end game storage. Just various storage things. Integrated logistics. Integrated tunnels from integrated logistics. Translocators, what? I don't know. Anyways, integrated tunnels. I've never actually used those, but they're apparently pretty crazy. We might look into those. I don't know. We'll see. We have... What are these? Mechanism pipes and fluid pipes. We have flat transfer nodes for some niche uses. But for now, all we really have is conveyor belts. And then water bucket. One of the most useful forms of early item logistics is water. Yep. If you say so, buddy. It is, but I don't really like using it. We have some other options here. Anyways, I'm not going to go through every single thing right now. Just know we have options. Early logistics. Okay, this is going to be our, like, first major logistics system. We're going to be doing logistics pipes, and this chapter is all about logistics pipes. This chapter is about chickens. So chickens are something that generate resources. Unlike some other mod packs where chickens are just completely OP and they just generate endgame resources, what you have to do in this mod pack is you have to do some kind of processing to the chicken eggs. So we got polywhatsit enriched egg. Turns into polycaprolactum. Why couldn't you just say polycaprolactum egg? Gosh, guys. Polycaprolactum we can turn into... well, we can see right here. We can turn it into sheets or ingots or foils. And then what would we actually use polycaprolactum for? I think we put it in an extruder and get string, right? Oh wait, here we go. We put it in a wire mill and it turns string. So polycaprolactum is a alternate way that we can get string. Okay, so as you can see, it's kind of like it supplies us with some stuff, but it's also slightly convoluted. So to get the actual chicken, we need smart chickens, and then we need to do some kind of recipe to them to turn them into these various other types of recipes. Stimulating Consciousness is all about deep mob learning, which is a mod that lets you simulate killing monsters for monster drops without actually having to kill them. So that's going to be something useful for us. And The World That God Only Knows definitely is an anime reference if you if you would know them. Oh hey, there's obsidian in here. I will absolutely accept 8 blocks of obsidian, thank you. Oh, there we go, 34k EMC. I accept. And then a trophy, which, as I said before, we're gonna leave the trophies for now. But anyways, this is kind of our end game goals chapter. So we have Philosopher's Stone is kind of the goal of the Void Age, so we've done that. The Ancient Thaumonomicon is something for Thought and Craft. I think it unlocks all the recipes. And then Floating Crystal is like an end game Astral Sorcerer thing, Gaia Spirit's an endgame Botania thing, Crystal Clusters endgame Blood Magic thing, etc. This is all the endgame stuff, basically, for various mods. And once we get to the middle here, we get the Creative Storage Key, which is also kind of the marker of the end of the mod pack. So we have a ways to go here. We're only one out of many. And some of these recipes are certainly a thing. Oh, what is all this now, right? Need some infinity in here? Oh, buddy. Anyways, cool. We've had a quick look at all of the chapters now. I think next what we want to do, since it is now daytime, is I want to go get some lava for our gauge and then set up our thing somewhere, our melter somewhere. So let's go and... Do we have a better bucket that's not going to melt every time we place a bucket, or do I need to make more buckets? To be honest, let's just make some more buckets, because we probably will need them before we get permanent buckets that don't melt after one use. So here we go. Let's get some buckets cooking up. Make sure there's room in here. There's not room in here. Take something out of here. Take this and throw it in here, I guess. Oh, no, we don't want to actually throw that in there. Okay, we found some storage somewhere, and hopefully it wasn't back here. Okay, good. So some more buckets are going to cook up. Let's take our current stack of buckets, and we want our gauge, and we want our oven mitts. Where did I put our oven mitt? Here it is, mitts. Okay, let's go and get lava while lava is available. Whoop, it's to the north, so it should be up here. And there's some mana here. Mana is going to be used for wizardry and then some other recipes, but for now, we're going to leave it there and we'll go to it when we need it. We're not going to bring it home just yet. Alright, let's get up this hill and then get a quick look at our bearing here. Okay, so we're on our way to lava. There's going to be a river. We're just going to swim across it for now. Oh, also there's some snow here. I remembered last time while I was out here placing, diamond is this flower over here. But while I was placing torches that, there is a mob that drops snow blocks. So here in this chunk we have Cambridge Blue, which if we go to our overworld, Cambridge Blue is here. Here it is. So Cambridge Blue marks diamond veins, which contain diamond, graphite, and coal. So diamond. Alright, let's keep going towards our lava. What do we have here? Garlic mustard? This is tin. I don't actually really want to be out here marking a bunch of veins when we have an objective we were out here to do. But I'm going to just go ahead and do it here really quick. So, tin. Oh, tin we usually mark as white, huh? Oh well. We now have a random gray tin vein. Alright, let's not kill ourselves going down this hill. Let's make sure there's no crazy monsters in the water before we cross over here. Gloriosa daisies, we know from earlier that is a magnetite vein, so... I think it's like in the water though, or I guess it's right here, okay. So, magnetite? Did I mark the magnetite earlier? Oh, I didn't mark it, that's right, because it was a dead vein. Oh, actually, here, there's some magnetite right here. In our lava pool. Which is pretty funny, because we actually came over here for this. So, okay, let's go ahead and fill up some lava into our tank here. Looks like our tank holds 4 buckets, so let's just grab 3 and 4. There we go. Our tank is full now. You'll notice that if I take the glove off, I was going to say if I take the glove off, then the tank hurts us, but I guess that's not the case. I guess a glass and some porcelain bricks as well is good enough to insulate it. Yay. Some tanks do not insulate like that, so that's why I had the glove on still. Really quick, I want to grab some ores here to finish the quest, and we can get some starter iron to work with. So we have magnet. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am an excellent miner, as you can see. So we have iron ore. Magnetite we did not have. Okay, and then we need vanadium magnetite. Hey, there we go. Okay, that finishes our quest. Can we melt magnetite into iron as well, into the melter? Does not look like we have a melter recipe for that. So let's grab some extra iron ore while we're here. It's a little hard to see because iron is like the exact same color as stone. But we're getting some. Our pickaxe also is not going to last super long. So I'm just trying to get what I can see here without too much digging. There's another one. Nope, that's not an iron. No more irons in here? Come on. The vein is actually massive and it's pretty dense, but our pickaxe is broken, so we can't mine anymore. I don't have any other pickaxes. Goodbye, pickaxe. Okay, and from here we can get back with using the /home command, so let's go ahead and do that. And we're back, yay! Let's set up our melter now, and we can get it to do some stuff for us. So melter, we need the basin, this, and that. Okay. Melter, we're just going to stick it over here for now until we have a more permanent home for setting things up. And there we go. Melter's all ready to go. And our first thing, let's just cook some iron in it. We're going to need a chisel, too, to cut this blank cast. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our quest reward over here from the magnetite vein, and I'm going to use that to get our first chisel. Well, for some reason I searched chisel over here, and I found there actually is just a chisel we can get for EMC. So we don't actually need to use iron to make this. That's my bad. Can we turn the chisel back into iron? That'd be pretty funny, actually. No, we cannot. But we can chisel all of these many things with it, so. Anyways, okay, chisel. We have a chisel now. We can take our blunt cast and we can turn it into any other cast. So we're going to do a ingot cast. And then as soon as these iron blocks melt down, we'll be able to make our own iron ingots. And do I have more iron? Oh yeah, I do have more iron, good. This would be a situation where having some a whopper would not be a bad idea. So let's go make one. And just set it so that we can... Let's get a couple things. Let's do some very, very mundane automation with this. So I'm going to make a lever really quick. Lever is just cobblestone and stick. Okay, that's the vanilla recipe. Thank you for not being something absurd. So cobblestone and stick. There's our lever, or lever if you prefer. Let's get some chests. Actually, we don't need that many chests. I think just one chest would be fine. Gonna go over here and craft a chest really quick. There's our chest, and then let's make a whopper. Let's make 2 whoppers, actually. We're gonna need both. So, whopper. And there's our 2 whoppers. Okay. And then we need our redstone clock that we got from the quest reward, and that should be everything we need for a very rudimentary automation setup. So these faucets can be triggered with redstone. I could like punch it like this, or right click it rather, not punching it. That lets us run, but if we put a redstone tick near it, like this, which outputs a redstone tick like every second or something, it will also output a block, or it'll also cause the faucet to turn off. So we're just going to go ahead and do that, and then over here I'm going to stick a chest and a whopper over here to suck the bar out of it. And there you go, see it turned on by itself, and then it's hardening, and then it goes. It goes once it cools down, yep, and then there it's taking the last bar. And then if we want to turn this off, there's a lever that just deactivates it. All right, and then for up here, I'm going to put a whopper, and I'm going to throw our iron into the whopper because this only holds 3 bars at once, or 3 blocks at once, so that's going to let us process a few things. We're not going to be doing a terrible amount of stuff processing in here because it's actually very inefficient. We can start doubling ores very early, but this is going to just help us do a little bit of stuff in bulk. Am I going to want to do gold as well? To be honest, probably we're going to need some gold for something, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw our gold in here as well. So there we can see we can't actually access this inventory. I think we can shift right click. Yeah, we can shift right click the stuff out of it, but we cannot actually open this inventory. This Primal Tech mod that this Whopper is from is actually it's a pretty interesting mod. One time there was this mod pack I played. Well, probably many people who are familiar with modded Minecraft have played it, called Tech, that had an entire age dedicated to stuff from Primal Tech. So okay. And our so far our lighting situation's looking pretty good over here. We do not have any duders sneaking up on us that I can see anyways. So that means I've done a good job lighting it up. So like at this point now it's like, okay, we have mitigated the what's it called? We've mitigated the risk of monsters spawning around us. Now we can set our beds and let us sleep to turn to daytime if we wanted, right? But what I'm going to do instead is we're going to do a little bit of... Oh, that's weird. There's 2 different things bound to that. We're going to do a little bit of setup for our base, I think. So I think let's have our like base building be like right over here. And what we're going to do is we can use our Philosopher's Stone to transform blocks into other blocks. So for example, we can transform this grass into a cobblestone, and then we can transform our cobblestone into a stone, and then we can chisel our stone into stone bricks. So hey, there we go. We can basically build our floor without having to without having to dig it up. And then also here, I can turn this stone back into a grass. Hey. So I think there is there's a hotkey we're gonna need to find. Hold on one second. Let's look at our hotkeys really quick. Category of Project E. So yeah, Project E hotkeys. Charge is on J. Change mode is on G. Okay, J and G. And extra function is on C. Projectile. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Can we try H? What does H multi-bound do now? A lot of things. Okay, well, we're just gonna have to hope that H doesn't have a conf... What is this now? H to open a crafting grid. Oh, that was the crafting grid option. Gotcha. I don't know how to shoot a projectile then. Anyways, if we press G, we've now switched to panel mode, and we can press J to charge it, and this affects how big of an area we're doing. And Shift J uncharges it. Let's see, we have a line mode. We have a cube mode. This is doing a cube underground, which you can't see because there's, you know, we're on top of the cube right now. And what else do we have? Panel, line, cube, panel, line, cube. Okay, so I guess it was in cube mode originally. Anyways, let's just do panel mode, and we're going to do... I'm gonna unchisel this, and then turn this back into a stone, into a grass. So let's see how big this panel currently is. This is a 9 by 9 panel. Whoops, I turned it into sand. That's a good thing, I guess, that there were no hollow spaces under this. So let's turn into stone. And then turn that into stone. So now we have a smooth stone area that we could turn into stone bricks. Which I think is what we'll use for our base. And then, you know, I know if you know Direwolf, you've probably heard of / watched him play. He likes to do these 9 by 9 rooms. I think that's what I'm gonna go with, to be honest. Like, it's just like such an easy pattern. So Direwolf, shout out to you for the 9 by 9. So let's set up a few 9 by 9s, and those are gonna be like our rooms of our building. All right. And then over here. So this is going to be like our starter house setup over here. And then we can... I'm going to uncharge this just so I don't blow something up later. Now we can chisel our stuff. Now for chiseling, you can go here and you can smack blocks and it will chisel through a variety of different blocks that you can chisel through. But if you actually put the target block you want to chisel into your chisel, you'll also get that. So, whoops, I don't know why I came back here. Go back / home, please. Okay. So let's go ahead and we do not have a pickaxe. Dang it. Let's make a pickaxe. Stick. Pickaxe. Go. Okay. That's not a pickaxe. Pickaxe, go. Let's pick up one of these, chiseled stones, which we can now put in our chisel, and we can turn it into our desired pattern, which I'm just going to use stone bricks for now. And now that stone bricks are in here, everything we smack will turn into stone bricks. So, hey, how about that? Except, we now have a hole in the ground here. Just stick this in here, transform that, there you go. The very frugal way of building your base. Just turning the grass into stone and using the grass to build with. Kind of. But also, not exactly, because we, you know, we did have to use chisel charges for this. Not that chisel charges are expensive. It is something, though. Get out of here, leaves. So we're just going to finish chiseling this up. That's also one neat thing we can do with the Philosopher's Stone. We can transform stone. We cannot use the Vein Miner mod on it, but we can transform it into a cobblestone, which we can then vein mine. So that's an interesting application that you can use with the Philosopher's Stone. Alright, there we go. Here's our base foundation, I guess. And we're probably also going to want some kind of, like, connecting room between this. So let's go ahead, cube mode. No, let's do panel, and then we're going to minus the size. Yep, this is blatant rip-off of Direwolf. Thank you for the design. And I think he actually does one big open room, so I'm just gonna, like, totally steal his design all the way. Alright, there we go. Let's chisel this up. I think usually this isn't connected over here, but it's fine. We'll have it all connected. Yeah, there's gonna be our foundation of our base. And probably put a torch in here before that gets sealed off and forgotten, and then we have monsters in our walls. Certainly not ideal to have monsters in your walls. And now that I'm looking at this, I'm realizing Um, no, this will be fine. I was realizing we don't have room between our rooms now, but if we just build the wall like this, it will be fine. And we'll have like a little divider between our 9x9 rooms. So, okay. We are okay in that regard. I'm just gonna, I guess I can really quickly just put our outline of our walls up as well. I'm not gonna do the chisel on all of this though. Let's go get the actual stone that I cooked up and use that instead because, yeah, that's gonna take forever if we do that. Multi-harvest this really quick and then replant it all. I don't even know if we're gonna need that much of that stuff, but it doesn't hurt to have it, I suppose. Until it does, like inventory gets way too full or something. Terror spores, let's stick you somewhere. Magnetite, vanadium magnetite. I mean, I don't really want to stick them in here, but I don't know where else to put them right now. Inventory's super full, and I need the formation wand. Never mind, I already had it in my inventory. Okay, so formation wand, let's build our formation? No, our foundation. Oh, and we need to actually turn this into bricks. Excuse me? How do you get stone bricks? Stone brick. Stone bricks, crack, okay. And an assembler. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to use, and then this would be cutting stone bricks and then reassembling them. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to use our chisel to actually make these stone bricks. So, I guess let's get ready to absolutely obliterate some chisels. That actually kind of jump scared me. Chisel. Here we go. Stone bricks, stone bricks. Space Jam DVD, stone bricks. Alright, we got a good number of stone bricks for now. I feel like it was more efficient to chop the stone bricks up in my hand than when I was slicing them up on the ground, but... Alright, let's do our middle of the wall barriers here. Let's put F7 mode on so we can see our lighting as we're going here. Let me get my corners built for the formation one to work properly. Loop. And then go over here. Gonna pick up these torches because we're gonna be replacing them shortly. Alright, ploop, and then ploop this line over here, ploop that line. Apparently plop is a very technical term because when I was in college, in my software engineering class, my professor was like, yeah, plop is the technical term, so... yeah, plop is the technical term. There you go. Should anyone have ever questioned. Though I wasn't saying plop, was I? I was saying ploop. Oh well. Let's have a spot for the door, I guess. And we can have multiple doors. Alright, and then let's build this up. How high do we want it to be? I think like 4 high plus 1, so 5 high would be good. So we're at 1 already. Let's do 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the roof is going to be up here. So let me really quickly see what that actually looks like. I can formation wand downwards, right? Excellent. Build this out very slightly just to get an idea of what this height looks like. Feels kind of tall. But some of our multi-blocks we're going to have are going to be pretty tall, and I don't know if we're probably not going to put the multi-blocks indoors, to be honest, because they're just gigantic. But for now, we can go with this. So let's go ahead. I want to get back up there to actually build this. I've got a nerd pillar up here. Okay, and let's just build our walls first. I don't know if we're even going to have enough bricks to get around the whole foundation here. It might just be faster if I... No, that won't be faster, because if I do what I was thinking to do right now, I would have just made a little staircase. Hello, please place the brick. Alright, I guess I'm going to have one in hand for when it's not cooperating. Like, why doesn't it want to place here? Ow. Okay, this one we get to place by hand. Maybe it would be better just to, like, build up the corners. Let's try this. So let's try building up our corners. And then let's try just building off of our corners. That might actually be easier to do. And right now I'm just worried about our walls, so let's, ow. Let's break our ankles getting off the roof. Let's go ahead and build our walls out. Oh, whoops, I have done that too far. Let's vein mine, or regular mine this off. Okay, there is our wall foundation coming along. We're going to need more bricks very shortly here, though. I have messed that up. Okay, there we go. We fixed it. Yeah, we're about to run out of bricks here, so need to go get more stone from the void, but I mean, it's looking good so far. I'm going to put some torches here before we have absolute mob fest in our new construction. Just, we'll put more permanent torches in a bit, but for now, I just don't want any yellow X's in here. Okay. Oh, and out here as well, I guess we need to make sure the backside is good. Put another one over here. And we're going to need a couple more over here, probably. Alright, that's lit enough for now. Get more stone. Really need to put some junk away here. Can we put this in here? Okay. Can't really quick deposit anything, and all this storage is completely full, so... Oh, we have tourist ores in that other chest. Let's move that here. Let's put dirt in the EMC table. And, okay, this is kind of the best we got for storage right now. Let's go ahead and drink this potion. And then, whoops. Put the bottle in there, make a new potion. Let's eat really quick. We have an apple pie we can eat. And, alright, there we go. Let's get some more stone now. Are we going to need more stone? Maybe. We don't really seem to have enough inventory to do this. Well, there we go. We put 2 more stacks to cook. It's something. Alright, and then we're probably going to need another chisel or 2. Go ahead and grab another chisel here. Let's see how long this one lasts. Chisel, bricks, 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 bricks. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Alright, let's see how much, how far this gets us. So we can go right here and plop, 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 plop. And go here, plop, 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 plop. We're gonna need like a ton for the roof. Oh no, the roof is gonna have monsters spawning on top of it, isn't it? Okay, well we better make sure we don't go too far. As long as we don't go too far, the monsters aren't gonna start spawning yet, so... Ah! Okay, we need to finish this wall over here. Let's finish this side first. I know we just ruined our doorway, but that's okay. We can just dig it out. There's our doorway. Let's do the same over here. All right. Whoops. All right, great. There's all of... Nope, not all of our walls. Now there's all of our walls. Now we just need to get on top of the roof and put the roof in. But that's going to need, like, many, many more stone bricks than what we have, so... Yeah, let's maybe wrap up episode here, and then next time we can start working on that. Let's get a little staircase to get on top of our roof. That looks good. Put a torch on the side. For now, I just want to put some torches up here, just so we're not having that situation right there. Where's my sword? Alright, I'm just gonna let that guy cook while we walk around and put the rest of our torches up here. Alright. Put one here, put one there. Alright, there we go. Our roof is at least slightly protected at the moment. Sir, can you please be deceased? Can you, like, fall off, at least? Thank you. Hopefully he doesn't figure out how to get back up here. Anyway, whoops. That's a big waste of stone. We'll fix that in a second. Just go ahead and fill in the roof up here. Fill in... I mean, this is going to be like a big rectangle. We might put some cutouts for some windows up here. In a little bit, but for now... Hey, we actually had enough stone for all of that. Great. Now, do we have enough candles for all of this is the new question. Let me break these candles that I have placed so far so I can recenter everything. Because I believe we should be able to do this with just 9 candles, so... Candles are looking good. Center that torch there, and then there should be 3 more center points here. Did I say 9 candles? Not 9, however many this is. 9 plus 4, 13 candles, sure. Okay, there we go. There's our base kind of starter situation. Let's clean up this embarrassment that I did in here. I'm just going to break it off so it's not touching any of the blocks. Then I'm going to vein mine it. Yoink. Excellent. And then let's redo our torches in here. So the ones that are on the walls are fine, I think. I think I'd like this to actually come down a bit, so it's like a little doorway. This is like Direwolf House from Temu. This is not how he builds it. That's okay, though. Like, yeah, I've put the torches clearly too high. I've made my ceiling too high. It's okay though. We'll just have a torch in the middle of the road, and the corner's not lit. Oh no. Okay. I guess we're just gonna have to have some extra torches. That's just how it's gonna be. Oh no. Do I want to drop the ceiling down? No, we're gonna be fine. We're just gonna have a torch, some extra torches in the corners here. I botched the 9x9, the easiest construction, and I botched it. How dare I? For these spots, we can have it in the spot that we want it, but kind of in this corner, we're gonna be slightly messed up. We're just gonna need more candles in general, also. But yeah, that's a starting point. Let me see if I can run back to our void base really quick and pick up a new set of candles without too many things spawning in here. Hold on. And then once I'm done placing those candles, that's where we're going to call it. Just grab some of this stuff and a pot, and give me string, give me wax, and give me candles. Okay. Please don't have any monsters. No monsters. Good, good. Okay. I'm just gonna have a torch like here. Looks ugly. I'll just have it in like the middle of the room, and then I'll have one here, and then I'll have one here, here, and here. Make like something that kind of works, I guess. I don't know. That's not gonna work if I put stuff there in the floor. Okay. All right. I mean, it's not the best, but it's not the worst either. We have a one floor candle in this room. This room we have no floor candles over here. Okay, that's not too bad. We don't need this above the doorway candle. It's not doing anything. Okay, okay, okay. We recovered it somewhat. No floor candles except right here. We need a floor candle. Unless like I put a chandelier or something in here. Maybe we'll put a chandelier later. But anyways, alright, that's gonna do it. We've got some iron going over here. Our iron actually is done. Yep, there we go. There's our first blocks of iron. Stick. Our next thing is going to involve hammers. There we go. There's our first hammer. Huzzah. Quest complete. That gives us a quest completion on... It was under here, metallurgy. So there we go. It gives us some crushed iron and copper. Actually, nice. So we get some more metals that we can work with. But for now, that's going to do it for today's episode. If you're enjoying the series, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Tell me how much I suck at building, and see you next time. Goodbye.